What can you expect from this community? Well, it all comes down to the question of what is coaching? Welcome back. In this video, we'll take a closer look at what we consider coaching at metaFox, how it connects to emotional intelligence, how we as coaches create transformation. Remember from the last video, we have a rather broad definition of the term coach. But what does coaching mean to you? Before we go into definitions, please pause for a moment. What does coaching mean to you? Take a second to reflect when you hear that word. What comes to mind? Probably your thoughts focus on coaching with ideas presented in these definitions, be it by a specific author or an institution like the ICF or EMCC. At metaFox, we look at things as practical as possible, so we came up with our own quite broad and all-encompassing definition. And that reads, coaching is the practice of further developing the emotional intelligence of others. Now, I want to emphasize, this is not a generally true statement. This is our own definition, which we chose out of practicality that you will see in the next 10 minutes. This is not a generally true statement, just one which will help us to further explore what you can learn and get in the metaFox community. But this brings the question, what is emotional intelligence then, if coaching is about developing the emotional intelligence of others? Here we want to use the concept by Daniel Goleman, who popularized the idea. He described emotional intelligence as the ability to recognize and understand emotions in yourself and others, to manage your own responses, and to use this awareness to guide relationships, decisions, and growth. Goleman breaks this down into 5 domains: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship management, and at the foundation, motivation. These 5 domains give us a map for understanding growth. You can also see that you can map 4 out of these 5 categories into this nice grid between personal and social versus awareness and management. And so as coaches, this is exactly where we work. We help people build emotional literacy, practice mindfulness, embrace journaling, explore strengths, and facilitate feedback. We foster empathy, cultural sensitivity, resilience, and trust. And of course, we work with motivation and purpose. So how do we as coaches actually help others develop in these 5 domains? We do it through very concrete practices. The following are examples in non-exhausting lists. In self-awareness, we might use tools for emotional literacy, helping someone name and recognize their emotions. We might encourage mindfulness, journaling, or strength assessments. In social awareness, we practice active listening, empathy training, help understand group dynamics, or work on reading nonverbal cues like body language. For self-management, we help others with stress management, building their resilience, time management, or developing habits. We look at how they deal with personal triggers, and we explore ways to stay calm and intentional under pressure. In relationship management, we work with conflict management, giving and receiving feedback, negotiation skills, building trust in teams, and using ethical influence to inspire others. This is about helping people understand and live up to their own motivation, developing grit and perseverance, cultivating optimism, and drawing from positive psychology to fuel their own growth. So for us, coaching, and with this, the development of emotional intelligence, is an overarching framework for human development. But let's get practical. What are the real problems people bring to us? Let's take a look at some examples. Clients might say something like, I don't really know what I feel, only what I think I should feel. Or, I'm not sure what my real strengths and weaknesses are. Others say, I go through life on autopilot without noticing my patterns. I think we all know these people whose life just flies by. Or, I often confuse my emotions with my thoughts. These are all challenges with self-awareness. Others struggle with self-management, with statements like, I procrastinate and don't follow through on my goals. I can't keep up healthy habits. I lose focus when setbacks happen. These are not problems of awareness and understanding, but of action that follows. Sounds familiar? In social awareness, we have these challenges as examples. I miss emotional cues, and that often leads to intense conflict. I struggle to see things from somebody else's perspective. I find it hard to adapt to people from different backgrounds. These examples are very real challenges in working with others, be it in your family or your team. Relationship management is another area. Examples here are: I avoid conflicts. I find it hard to build trust. I struggle to influence positively. I tend to please others too much just to keep the peace. These are common topics other people need our support on. And finally, motivation with statements like, I lose steam quickly. I set goals, but give up halfway. I can't stay optimistic when challenges pile up. I don't feel a clear sense of purpose pulling me forward. Coaching is often about reigniting that inner drive. Successful coaching is emotional intelligence in action. Coaching brings the emotional intelligence framework to life. And who do we work with? Well, individuals, one-on-one, but also groups. And this is how we create transformation, by helping others develop across the 5 domains of emotional intelligence. This is how we create transformation, by helping others develop across the 5 domains of emotional intelligence. We help people build very specific skills in each of the 5 EI domains. Every single one of these practices adds up, and when people apply them consistently, change happens. That is where coaching delivers the value. Right now, you might not work in all the 5 domains. You might just work with individuals and never with groups. But we also know that you are here for a reason, to expand your understanding and your practical skills, to help your clients, patients, or participants with their challenges. All of what you see here are solutions to their challenges. But this raises an important question. If we want to help others grow, what do we need to be able to do that? What are the underlying growth principles for us as coaches? We call this the coach development framework, how we as coaches keep developing ourselves. The model covers 4 dimensions: mindset, methods and theory, skills, and tools. And it asks, what do I need as a coach? What's inside me and what's outside of me? What's abstract and what is concrete? In this community, you have to keep developing your mindset, your curiosity, resilience, openness, and ethical grounding. These are the inner attitudes that shape who you are in practice. You'll also get to understand new methods and theories, frameworks and models, and approaches that guide how you design your work. You'll practice your skills, the hand-on abilities like listening, questioning, facilitation, and presence that define how you interact in the very moment. And finally, you'll get the access to tools, tangible resources you can apply directly in practice, card sets, apps, as well as printed and digital materials. In the community, you will find that we are working on all the 4 fields of the coach development framework. In the community, you'll find spaces for reflection, dialogue, and inspiration to keep growing your mindset. The exchange with others is what drives this development. You'll have access to structured courses, resources, and a growing library of methods to experiment with. The community gives you real practice opportunities, especially in our tools and action calls, where you can try things out, receive feedback, and watch how others work. We also offer other online and on-site events to further help you build your practical skills along your coach journey. And finally, tools. You'll not only learn about these tools, but also get to apply them. We have many free resources for you to use. We offer valuable rewards for interactions and level ups here in the community. And of course, we have commercial offers for the very effective tools that we offer in any case. Now, here is where it all comes together. On the left, you see the 4 dimensions of coach development: mindset, methods, skills, and tools. On the right, you see the 5 domains of emotional intelligence. The key point is, our development as coaches directly enables their development as clients or participants. The more we grow our mindset, methods, skills, and tools, better equipped we are to help others grow their awareness, their self-management, motivation, and relationships. This is the transition, developing ourselves so we can create transformation in others. And when we put this into practice, it shows up in different interaction types, the ways we actually work with people in real life. Depending on the setting, we step into different interaction types. In one-on-one work, we might be a coach, a mentor, or a supervisor, helping someone reflect deeply on their personal challenges and growth. In one-to-end settings, we act as trainers, teachers, or presenters, transferring knowledge and skills to a group with a clear structure and outcome. In end-to-end formats, we become facilitators, moderators, or mediators, guiding group processes, making sure everyone's voice is heard, and helping the group co-create solutions. Each type has a different focus: individual growth, skill learning, or group collaboration. And part of our craft as coaches is to know which role to step in which moment. That's why we hold these three perspectives together: our own development as coaches, the interaction types and roles we step into, and the emotional intelligence domains we help others grow in as a consequence. We have built this community to give you proven tools, immersive practice, and a lasting place for transformation. This is where your development connects with the development of others. So let's get started. I invite you to dive in, experiment, and practice. This community is here for you and for the people you serve. Let me show you in the next video how to actually navigate the platform and take the first practical steps.